This woman felt like she had just found a hidden gem during one of her thrift shopping rounds. She bought an old-looking ring with unique carvings and a green emerald for only $25. In her eyes, it was considered a steal, but it was a purchase she soon would come to regret dearly because just one day later, an expert told her the following. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Allison enjoyed browsing thrift stores on lazy Sunday afternoons, especially the ones tucked away in quiet neighborhoods. She never looked for anything specific, just the thrill of the unknown. That day, Allison felt particularly lucky. She felt it even more so when her gaze fell on a specific glass case near the register. The display box was filled with old jewelry and watches, some rusted, others beautifully aged. She leaned closer, her eyes scanning over brooches and dull chains, when something round and gold caught her eye. It was a thick ring, heavy-looking, with strange markings carved all around its surface. A single green gem was set at the top, tiny but vibrant. "How much for this one?" she asked the woman behind the counter, pointing toward it with growing curiosity. The shopkeeper carefully removed it from the case. $25, she said. "It came from a house clearance last week, probably costume jewelry." Allison turned it over in her fingers. It felt solid and heavier than she expected. The markings looked decorative to her, but she soon found out they held a much more significant meaning. The piece looked far too good and premium to go for a low price like that, so without arguing the call any further, she agreed. "I'll take it." Back home, Allison slipped the ring onto her middle finger. It fit surprisingly well, even though it was not made for her. She examined it under a desk lamp, tracing the carvings again. They were a mixture of doodles and written words, although not in a language she recognized. The green stone shimmered under the light, catching her off guard with an almost flashlight brightness. It almost was like the little green stone was alive. Curiosity got the better of her, so she took a picture of the ring and posted it in a local online group for antique lovers, asking if anyone recognized the symbols. But Allison was most curious about the shiny green stone in the center of her new ring. The comments came in slowly and were mostly dull and unhelpful. Most people just found the ring pretty. Others thought it might be a replica of a fantasy movie they saw recently. But these were not the answers she was hoping for. It was getting dark outside, and staring at her computer screen tired Allison. So, with no one able to help her further, she readied herself for bed. But Allison had no idea what was to come. During the night, Allison got her beauty sleep. It was calm and peaceful, without any disturbances. But what this poor woman did not realize was that her phone was slowly heating up, not with actual heat, but with incoming messages from one particular person. And it all had to do with the ring resting beside her on her nightstand. When Allison woke up the next morning, her phone was still ringing. There were plenty of messages to go around, many with stupid and unbelievable theories. However, one reply stood out, mostly because this individual commented on her post over 10 times. He didn't share any theories but simply asked if Allison wanted to meet in person, stating it was important. Allison messaged him privately. His name was Dr. Francis Merritt, and he claimed to be a retired university professor specializing in tech. "I believe I know something about this ring you will want to know," he typed. After some back and forth, during which Dr. Merritt refused to tell her why he was so adamant about meeting up, Allison agreed to meet him at the public library later that day. Allison admitted hesitation. What could a technology professor tell her about a golden ring? The two simply didn't add up. Plus, meeting a strange person she met online sounded like a bad idea, but the thought of a public library with many other people around seemed like a good safety net, and Allison soon discovered that being a technology expert would be quite handy in her case. During the hours between her online chat and the time she needed to leave home to go to the library, she researched Dr. Francis Merritt. He seemed legit. The man worked at MIT for over 30 years and even published some papers on transmitters and other vague technology-related items she knew little about. But all this compiling information did give Allison a bit more confidence. But what Allison did not know was that her worries were directed in a completely wrong direction. She doubted the man tried to help her figure out this mysterious ring, but her doubts should have been directed toward the piece of jewelry she held in her side pocket almost the entire day. For this ring held a secret hand, not a very pleasant one. When it was time to go to the meeting, Allison wore the ring again. The sky was overcast, and a cool breeze blew through the streets as she walked to the library. She found Dr. Merritt waiting at a table near the back, surrounded by open books and a small magnifying lamp. He greeted her warmly, then immediately focused on the ring that gripped her finger. Allison took a seat across from Dr. Merritt, still feeling unsure about everything. The man didn't waste time with small talk. His eyes, slightly magnified by thick glasses, were fixed on the ring. "May I?" he asked, and she slipped it off her finger without a word. He placed it gently beneath his magnifying lamp and leaned in, so close his nose nearly touched it. He didn't speak at first, just examined the carvings in silence. He adjusted the lamp twice and even took out a small metal tool to tap lightly along the band. "This ring, it isn't decorative," he muttered. "This green stone, it's holding a secret." Allison blinked. "A secret? What kind of secret?" she asked, but the man didn't answer immediately. He kept inspecting. "This ring is not what it seems." Dr. Merritt finally said, his voice lower now, "It's cleverly designed. This isn't jewelry. It's technology." He pointed to a small groove under the green gem. "This isn't a stone at all. It's a lens, a very small one." Allison laughed, thinking he must be joking, but the man's serious expression quickly wiped the smile from her face. "A lens?" she repeated, frowning. Dr. Merritt turned the ring upside down, angling it beneath the light again. "Yes, and this here," he tapped a groove beside the green emerald, "is probably a power source. The craftsmanship is extremely refined, something I've only seen in surveillance prototypes. This is a camera, miss," he said, "and it's been pointing at your face this entire time. Someone's watching you." Allison's skin turned cold. "Are you saying someone's spying on me?" she asked quietly. "Through the ring?" The older man nodded. "It's possible, maybe even likely." He turned the ring over and pulled out a tiny scanner from his bag. "I don't usually carry this around," he said, "but today I'm glad I did." He waved it slowly over the ring. A light blinked red. "Active signal. It's transmitting," Dr. Merritt said, calm despite the revelation. "We should power it down," Allison suggested, panicked. "Maybe smash it." But he shook his head. If someone's watching, cutting the feed might alert them. Better to act unaware. "But why would someone film me?" she asked. "It's just a thrift store ring." Dr. Merritt leaned back. "I don't think this ring was left there by accident. Someone wanted it to be found. The question is, why you?" That unsettled her. She tried to recall anything unusual from the store. "We should move. I have equipment in my apartment that can block the signal and let us examine it safely." The idea of leaving with a stranger felt risky, but staying seemed riskier. Allison hesitated, then nodded. "All right, but I'm driving." He gave a faint smile. They left quietly, Allison slipping the ring into her coat pocket, scanning the street as they exited. The drive was silent, heavy with tension. His apartment was modest, tucked among trees, partly hidden from view. Inside, he closed the blinds and led her to a cluttered workbench surrounded by odd devices and tools. He laid the ring on a rubber pad beneath a strange dome-like object. "Signal jammer," he said. "Whoever's watching won't see or hear anything now." "Can you tell where the signal was going?" she asked. He nodded. "I recorded the path before jamming it. We might be able to trace it." On a nearby monitor, a red dot blinked. "It's bouncing through a tower just 5 blocks from here." "Can we go there?" Allison asked. But Merritt was cautious. "We don't know what we're dealing with. That tower could be a decoy." Despite not understanding everything, Allison trusted him. She stayed quiet as he began typing furiously, attempting to access security feeds from the building. Strings of data raced across the screen. When he hit enter, a set of camera feeds loaded. Merritt had expected nothing. But there it was, a small office room, and a man sitting behind a desk. The security camera gave them a view from behind, showing him watching a bank of monitors. "Can you zoom in?" she asked. Merritt adjusted the view. Allison's heart froze. On the man's monitors, she saw a playback of everything since she had bought the ringer leaving the thrift store, close-ups of her face, even scenes from inside her home, her cat, her furniture, her life on display. "This is freaking me out," she whispered. "We have to make him stop. Why was this man watching her? What did he want?" Allison knew she couldn't live like this. They needed to find answers because her safety was already gone. Dr. Merritt agreed, but warned they couldn't confront the man alone. He suggested Allison contact the police and explain the situation. "When they agree to help, we'll go over there." Allison picked up her phone and called local law enforcement, recounting everything. To her relief, they took her seriously. "If you give us the address, we'll arrive in 30 minutes." said the officer. She provided the location, then turned to Merritt. "Let's go," she said. They drove in tense silence. They parked across the street from the building. All the building's windows were dark except one. A dim light glowed exactly where they believed the spy was. "He's there," Merritt said. But then the blinds moved. Someone was inside watching. Moments later, the light switched off. Acting fast, they rushed to the front door, hoping to intercept whoever was inside. The police hadn't arrived yet, and if they waited, the person might vanish. Allison reached the entrance first. She pressed herself to the right of the door. Merritt took the left. They waited in silence. After about 3 minutes, footsteps echoed from inside. The doorknob turned, a hooded figure stepped out, and they acted on instinct, tackling the person to the ground. "Who are you?" Allison yelled, holding him down. Just then, the police pulled up. He was arrested without resistance. Upstairs, the police found the evidence needed to prosecute. Surveillance footage of Allison, dozens of pictures dating back over a decade, even the layout of her home. "You've been on his radar for a long time," one officer said. At the station, the man finally spoke. His name was Ashton Davis. He had gone to high school with Allison and had been obsessed with her ever since. Too shy to approach her then, he used his tech skills to track her. "I've followed her for over 13 years, he confessed. He admitted to paying a thrift store clerk an old friend to ensure Allison ended up with the ring. "She didn't know why, so don't arrest her," he pleaded. Ashton received a 3-year prison sentence for illegal surveillance and stalking. A lifetime restraining order barred him from contacting Allison or coming within 100 yards of her. The judge called his actions invasive and calculated. The shopkeeper was fined for her role in the deception. Allison didn't attend the sentencing. She felt no triumphantly, a quiet relief. Her life, long shadowed by someone else's obsession, was finally her own again. She changed her locks, gave away unfamiliar jewelry, and updated her routines. The fear that once clung to her began to fade. Though she still glanced at corners of her home out of habit, the oppressive weight she'd carried for years had lifted. The ring was gone. The shadows had cleared. For the first time in 13 years, Allison wasn't just safe. She was free.